Hey there guys, welcome back. It's Maverick here today with the grand finale, apparently, of Spy Family. I actually wasn't keeping track of all the episodes and whatnot, but somehow or another we're already on episode 25 of this first season. Obviously, this was divided into two cores, but this is still the first season here. And, yeah, in case anyone hasn't heard yet, well, apparently they have already announced both a second season and apparently a movie for this. I mean, I'm not too surprised. Spy Family is very popular, the manga, the anime as well, and it's quite good, right? It's high quality. Even though, of course, I do have some, I wouldn't really say issues, but let's just say some parts that I feel could be elaborated on a little bit more, right? Especially in terms of Yoru. But hey, it is what it is. Well, let's continue on. It's been heartwarming so far, and it's definitely got the good feels and good morals going on. So, how exactly are they going to do this finale? Are they going to be setting up for the next season, or is this going to be more like the end of the first core, where it kind of was a non-consequential sort of episode, right? In any case, let's get into it and find out. Alright, I skipped the opening here. Let's just begin the episode in 3, 2, 1, play. No. Leading color social gathering venue. Really? Were there? Okay. So I guess maybe the armed guards are out here specifically because of this gathering. Oh, yeah. Oh, so is Yuri here as well? Wait, they're really doing something like this? Uh, as the finale of this episode? I mean, of the season? Hmm. Oh, another James Bond reference. Yeah, so basically reaffirming why we needed Operation Strix in the first place, right? So I'm guessing Anya's probably gonna be the MVP for this episode, just based on this premise right now. care because of his brother and not because of Damien. His brother seems quite cold to him as well. But not to the point of like completely outright ignoring him, right? And Becky's just like Becky's just like, girl, you are such a Cinderella. I'll bet. No, it's not. Yeah. Are these the Imperial Scholars? Look at that evil face, Anya. Yes. And of course, the Becky is just like, "Oh, how deep is your love, Anya?" Hey, this. And Becky's like, "I will support you, Anya." Yep. Hmm? Why did he make? Why did he need to make that replica? I don't get it. Is his father actually going to? Ah, I see. Oh, just at this time. Oh, no. Why is his? His dad is definitely gonna be like, eh, that's not important. Uh, we're getting the tire drop here. Yeah, I definitely feel like the logical conclusion to this would be his father being like, eh, doesn't matter, or something like that. Or is it like going to be like a complete 180 and, you know, his actual personality is like, yeah, I kind of feel like it's not going to go as he plans. Oh, is this something that will? Is this something that that dude will have? But so, huh? That's a very interesting take from Lloyd. Slightly risky, but although I do have to wonder though, like so far, we've barely heard anything from him. Interesting meeting here. Actually, why did he? Why did he want to? Yeah. Hmm. That was a lot more wholesome than I was expecting. Yeah, you barely learn anything about this guy, even though this entire episode was about him, in a sense. But really, all things considered, though, yeah, he did, you know, just come here even though he literally didn't even know what Damien wanted, right? Interesting. Still sleeping? That's an interesting kind of ending for a season. But I guess that's what you can do when you already know that there's going to be a continuation, right? Alright, see you guys after this. Alright, guys, so that was the finale of season 1 of Spy Family. And in this episode, really, there's just one major thing to talk about, right? And that is definitely Mr. Donovan Desmond. To be honest, this meeting here really, okay, two things that I'm surprised about. One is that this actually ended up being the conclusion of the first season. Like, this seems to be like something big, right? Finally, after all this time, 20 episodes later, we finally get to meet the main, arguably like the main objective of this entire series at this point, right? I mean, everything in regards to why we needed to make this fake family, why Yoru and Anya and Bond is even here, is because of Operation Strix, and that is Donovan, right? And yet they chose, like, right at this moment to have this fateful first encounter here. That's definitely something. That's something quite interesting. I guess it does turn into a very good sort of like foundation for the next episodes or seasons or whatever you want to call it, right? And the second thing is definitely in regards to Donovan's behavior, character. Although at this point in time, you still can't really say anything, right? It's hard to make a conclusion on him. I'm just like I was thinking throughout the entire encounter that there's honestly like lots of different ways to go about this, right? So originally, I was under the impression that maybe this is going to be a family, right? This character Donovan is going to be one that's really strict and harsh on Damien, and we might really turn into it. So basically the real antagonist of this story, right? Instead of just having like some frenemies, if you will. Like Damien can be considered somewhat like a frenemy, although that was quite obvious from the very get-go when we saw him. Donovan, however, really has that classic evil villain kind of look and feel, if you will, especially for a series like this one, where I think it's honestly quite easy to discern between who is actually going to be like an antagonist and who has potential to be friends of the protagonist. Donovan definitely strikes one more as definitely evil villain antagonist kind of character, right? But looking at it here, it's not that quite clear cut, and I do think that's awesome, because I don't really like a series where you have clear cut villains and clear cut good guys, right? I find that I don't really find that really interesting, to be honest, like the class and shonen tropes and all that. I really prefer much more, morally gray kind of things. Although in a series like this one, I was definitely much more expecting things to be clear cut. But, you could argue, right? Like, from this episode, we see Damien's interactions with two of his family members. One is his older brother, and one is his father. The older brother, that phone call there, sure, he seemed like kind of cold, kind of distant from the beginning, kind of like, what the hell you want, like that kind of thing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Damien is being despised or anything, right? I mean, heaven knows, like, I have siblings as well. Sometimes I act like that to them. I'm just like, okay, come on, just spit it out already. What the hell do you want, right? Even though they are family and all, but sometimes you do get annoyed by your family, right? It's definitely not all sunshine and flowers and whatnot. And looking through that entire conversation, it wasn't like he was being particularly mean or snarky toward Damien or anything. It was just like kind of okay, just like, what do you want? stated, all right, you want to talk to father? Fine, I'll talk to him about it, but don't get your hopes up. And that was already it, right? So not really, and it's not like he wasn't willing to help or anything. So I really don't think that there's anything particularly like particularly like anti-Damien or runt of the family kind of feeling going on here. If more than anything, I feel like this complex on Damien might really be entirely from himself, right? At least so far, what we've seen at this point, right? Not so much in that those classic tropes like or the classic Asian parent tropes. Why you only get 90? Why don't you not get 100? That kind of thing. I thought it was going to be that kind of situation, but it doesn't really seem that way here, right? So, considering that, I'm kind of lost. Like question mark. Like, what exactly is Donovan's sort of like character or whatnot? And another good point was made here, right? After all that's been said and done, he did still come here to meet Damien, even though literally nothing was said. He didn't know what Damien wanted him for. He's simply like, okay, fine. You want since you took the trouble to find me, I will make some time for you, right? Sure, not much was said, but it's not like he insulted Damien for, and why are you wasting my time and all that, which is another common tropes of these kinds of like father-son relationships and whatnot. Instead, it wasn't. Again, it was kind of cordial to the very end, right? Now, don't really know if that was only because there were still some third party there, like even after Lloyd left, Damien's friends were still beside him, right? So maybe he didn't really want to make a big scene in front of everyone. I mean, we clearly saw one scene where it seemed that Donovan was kind of getting angry, or maybe not angry, but more so annoyed, if you will. But his annoyed face is already quite scary enough, right? But who knows? Like, maybe this is going to be it's turned into some kind of like misunderstanding, and really, Donovan is someone who actually really does love his children and whatnot. It's simply that because he was born with that kind of face, so every time he acts a little bit annoyed or is a little bit frustrated or whatnot, people think that he's getting angry when in reality he's not, right? It could also turn into that kind of situation as well. It really depends on how wholesome they want to make this entire thing, right? Maybe there is no real big bad antagonist and whatnot, and this is all a misunderstanding, and this sort of like fodder complex is something that we will help resolve towards the end, right? Or this really could turn into a full-on like a family rebellion kind of situation where the son is rebelling against the father and whatnot. It could swing either way here, and just based on this first encounter here, really inconclusive, but I think that is a good thing. That adds complexity, that adds another layer of things where we can try to look out for, and we can try to theorycraft and think through and whatnot. And I like it. So leaving it ambiguous like this, I would say that is a good thing. And of course, there's obviously some other humor in this one as well, like Damien showing his sort of kind of accidentally confessing his true thoughts and feelings about Anya and whatnot, or Becky's misunderstanding getting deepened once again and all. And but beyond all that, I think we can safely say that Donovan was the clear focal point of this episode, and I think it did. I would say the build up was quite nice, right? From how Lloyd explained through like why they needed to do this, which I think is a good thing. Like, once again, reinforcing why it's so hard to get near to Donovan, and why after everything was said and done, they chose this kind of like really ridiculous plan to get near him and all that. And utilizing that little sheep figure, I was kind of like, what the hell are you going to do with that? But okay, that actually turned out to really make sense and was quite clever as well, right? Using that as an opportunity to get close to Damien, and hey, he even had the perfect excuse, right? If Anya did not punch him at the start, there wouldn't really be anything to relate or talk to Damien or Donovan about, right? If it's just a simple like classmate or anything, certainly that's not going to leave an impression. So you know what they say, like any marketing is good marketing, right? Even any attention is good attention, even if it's negative news. Hey, at least you got people talking about you, and that certainly applies to this situation as well. But yeah, in any case, that was it for this episode, right? And I guess for this first season of Spy Family as a whole, you know, I am enjoying it, all things considered. Like I'm gonna be entirely honest. I'm not the one who's most like family related, you know, types of like wholesome kind of anime. It really isn't my forte. I know lots of people love it, but it's just not. I don't really like more of the. I don't really like this kind of feeling based, and like, I'm not saying that I'm, you know, nothing in regards to wholesome anime I don't like or anything. I watch lots of wholesome anime as well, and other works, but you know, specifically family related ones, or you know, like father son, father daughter, mother son, or mother daughter, like that kind of relationship thing. It's really not exactly my interest, but I feel like this one certainly has a lot of merit to it, right? And it's funny. It's kind of it's definitely not really, you know, based all that much on you know, reality, if you will, right? It's definitely much more cartoonish in a lot of ways, but I feel like it's just significantly it's just adequately grounded in reality, and also interlaced with all these sort of interactions, you know, family related interactions that make this into like a real good series overall, right? Like I'm not gonna say that this is my favorite or anything. Like it might come as a shocker to some of you guys, but definitely there were still a few episodes where like, okay, this is kind of getting episodic. You know, it's sort of like a, you know, event of the day and a moral of the day, and learn a little bit more about this character, learn a little bit more about that character. I mean, fine, I'm okay with that. It's just that, you know, this is how can I say it? Now, some of the stuff doesn't, you know, I can still get a good laugh out of it or whatnot, but it doesn't necessarily interest me all that much. The topic matter, and whatnot. But still, you know, quite decent overall. I would love, of course, once again, to know a little bit more about like some serious stuff, right? Like I do wonder when this series is actually going to turn serious, or is that ever going to happen, right? I mean, they are like the background setting of this is actually talking about some pretty serious stuff, right? And indeed, even some of the things that they've been talking about, like this is definitely a world where the agents from both sides are being tortured and killed by each respective side, right? One of the main characters, Shiloh, is literally an assassin as well, and apparently she's still doing assassinations like every single night or every, you know, other night or something of that. Like there, and you know, this is definitely, let's be clear here, this is definitely making a sort of play on the Cold War, right? The East-West, and particularly Soviet Union and Stalin and whatnot, you know, that kind of thing. We're definitely looking at that kind of a heavy, serious situation here. No matter how light the tone is right now, clearly all of that stuff is still happening in the background of this anime. But we are you know, they are trying to keep this very family friendly, if you will. So all of that part is being pushed aside as well. Like sometimes we get some tidbits of it. Like for instance, with regarding Bondman, right? Sorry, not Bondman, Bond. Bond, like the dog Bond. We can clearly see that both sides are, or I think it's mostly the East, right, are using like our research into making suicide dogs or different kinds of human experimentation, animal experimentation to enhance their cognitive abilities and whatnot. You know, literally, I'm still really curious about the backstory of Anya, how she turned out that way, the backstory of Bond, and is more of that stuff going on as well, and heck, even more about Yoru as well, right? These are all heavy subjects, these are all serious subjects, and I'm not quite sure that this series is going to be ready to tackle that anytime soon. And indeed, if you think about it right now, this still is very much a sort of cartoon-like and suitable for children kind of a series, right? Are they ever going to really make a shift in tone to make it darker and touch on those heavy subjects? I don't know. I would definitely love to look at that a lot more. That's definitely much more up my alley. I love to watch stuff related to that as well. But who knows? Who knows? We'll just have to see in the future, in the movie, in the second season, and yeah, I guess we'll just leave it at that, eh? So, overall, still a great series, definitely recommendable, and yeah, that is it for now. Thank you guys for coming along. Feel free to check out my other stuff. I don't really do that many reactions nowadays. Life is busy, but I still try to keep at least a relative consistent schedule, and obviously I still have like a huge backlog up on my anime list and whatnot. I'm still going to try to work them out, but in any case, feel free to check out that, and if not, well, hopefully I will see you guys once again once new Spy Family stuff drops out. And hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. It is actually Christmas right now, so Merry Christmas, guys, and hope I will see you guys again sometime soon. Until then, be safe and cheers. Bye bye.